We continue to go under the hood. The 30th anniversary running of the Brickyard 400 about to get underway here on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan, as well as Hot 100.9. He is BSwift. I am Kurt Darling, joined by A.J. Allmendinger, of course, former winner on the road course here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway from Kaulig Racing. A.J., first off, double duty for you this week. What was the race like for you yesterday in the Pennzoil 250?
Yeah, it was interesting that the aero package that we had to run. I wouldn't say aero package because it's the same aero package. Motor package. Definitely a different type of race. I thought we were doing everything we could. Probably should have pitted for tires there. I thought our only chance was to stay up front to try to win the race. So that probably cost us 3 or 4 spots at the end of the day. But I thought it went pretty smooth. We had a pretty solid day and gave ourselves at least a chance, led a couple laps. So, yeah, it's I don't know why. I mean, don't get me wrong. Not winning kind of sucks in general. But it's like when you're kind of close at IMS and it doesn't happen, it just really feels even worse. So, but I thought Riley did a great job there at the end. It was a fantastic finish for the fans watching for sure.
Now, you've picked up the victory on the road course, coming back to the oval. Like, how excited are you about that?
I mean, I really enjoy the Brickyard 400 especially. It's a crown jewel. Don't get me wrong. I'm never going to turn down the chance to go race road course racing.
Of course.
But to have it back here, to see all the people already out here, it's a big deal, and I think it's good for NASCAR to have this race as the Brickyard 400. So I'm very fortunate that I still get to do this. We still get to go to the pagoda, get to intros, walk along the line of bricks, and I just get chills every time I come into this place. So super pumped to be back and ready to go today.
Okay.
Can you describe the first time that you laid eyes on this place and what racing meant for you, knowing that you got to come in here and just experience it all?
Well, I mean, as a kid, I always watched the Indianapolis 500, and then I was a Jeff Gordon guy. So as a I think 13-year-old kid watching this race on TV when Jeff won the first one was really special. I think I'm trying to remember the first time actually being inside this place was actually for the Formula One race.
Really?
Yeah, it was the Red Bull driver search, and so I was coming for the Formula One race. Was actually I think maybe 2002 was probably the first time.
That would be about right.
Yeah, being here. So, and really driving on it the first time was the first practice laps of the Brickyard 400 in 07. So, yeah, it as much as I love this place, it took me a while to actually get here in my life and actually see it for the first time.
Now, coming in, hitting the oval, of course, different than a street course, of course. What's the mission between you and the guys and the crew and tuning the car the right way?
Yeah, I mean, I think this race is going to be really interesting in the fact that, track, I hate the saying track position, but, I mean, it's essential at every racetrack we go to. I think today, for the amount of speed that we're carrying around this place in these Cup cars, track position is going to be very critical. These cars get super sensitive behind other cars, so the further you get back in line, the worse that gets. I felt like just so far this week in our campers and RV Chevys been pretty stable, which is the first thing you want. It's got decent speed in it, but it's such a fine line because the cars get so tight so quick, and especially in traffic. But you can't have it too free because if it's loose, it is hard to hold on to, especially the amount of speed you carry down into the corner. So, we start fairly close to the front, start 15th. I think it's about strategy and good pit stops. And, I feel like this place, you always got to have a little luck on your side as well. So, hopefully we can just make all the right moves, be error-free, and give ourselves a chance to run up front. The ultimate goal for us is to obviously always win the race. But, I think if we could run inside the top 15 where our Cup program is right now, that'd be a great day.
A.J. Allmendinger with us here as we go under the hood on 93.5, 107.5, The Fan, and Hot 100.9. So, A.J., and you touched a little bit right there about how this car is entirely different from the last time you guys were racing here on the oval. Now, even though the Xfinity car is apples to oranges in that regard, can you describe how you've gotten familiar with this new car and getting it ready for this particular race? And was yesterday possibly indicative of what we might be able to expect today?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's I think if you ask kind of all of us, drivers and teams, the lap times are quicker than we expected. Our weeks are spent simming and doing all that. That's with not a lot of testing. That's what we have to do to really kind of hone in on the setup. And obviously the cars were, they did a tire test out here, so you kind of had a general idea, but the lap times are quicker than I think we all expected. You're just flowing so much speed through the corners. I still equate this car to, on an oval like this, it's closer to an Indy car in the sense of, like the old Cup car and the Xfinity cars. I mean, you saw yesterday Riley sliding through the corner through turn 4. These cars, the new Cup cars, you can't do that. I mean, they're rigid. The steering is really quick. We don't have that side force on the car, so it is more like an Indy car in the sense of if the thing steps out, you probably crash. So that's why the setup is such a fine line of keeping the car free enough to get it to turn, but you can't be loose because you just can't drive these cars loose like a old Cup car. So that is, I think the setup box is even smaller than we've ever had, especially around a place like this.
Now, as you get ready for the race, do you have any superstitions that you like, all right, you got to leave me alone around this time, let me do me? Or you just, let me get my car and let's go?
No, I mean, it's every weekend's a bit different. We whether it's sponsor stuff, doing things like this, or maybe you have a weekend where you don't have anything to do and you just kind of sit in the hall or waiting. I'm pretty low-key when it comes to that. Every now and then we'll turn some music on. Depends on the flavor of the day.
Yeah.
Today feels like a five-finger death punch type of day. So get a little angry before we get in the car. No, I'm not very superstitious. I think you go out there and more often than not, you make your own luck, and you just got to be in the right state of mind. And, I think especially where I'm at in my career of not knowing how many more years I do this, always taking this in, especially here, because you don't know how many more of these you get to do. And just trying to enjoy it in the sense, and then you get strapped in, and it's time to go to business.
Of course, being here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, you know better than anyone how much luck plays into strategy and anything else that happens here. And so, but still, with that in mind, you've been now with Kaulig Racing for a little while, and you've really helped build the program up. What has it been like for you being a part of this particular operation, seeing it grow from, mostly, and if not all Xfinity, to really getting into some substantial Cup running?
Yeah, I mean, it's probably the, at Red Bull, we all started together, but I was such a newbie in Cup racing. It was like trying to learn how to walk again. I remember stepping into a stock car, and I was like, what is this thing? Like, this is way different than anything I've ever driven. So, essentially, this is the first team that I've truly been on to where you really grow together. It's amazing driving for Roger Penske and Richard Petty, but that history's already been made. I remember just walking in those shops. You're like, I'd like to have my picture up there once. Like, maybe I just want to be a small part of this history. Like, I know I'm going to be a blip on the radar for the most part, but at Kaulig Racing, we've had a lot of wins together, and even take a small part when your teammates win of we're doing this together. So it's been really special, and hopefully I can put more wins on the wall, and then whenever I'm done, I can be a part of the team in another way.
Now, you speak on your vet. You're a vet. You don't know how many of these you have left. Do you find yourself finding some young drivers and mentoring them and preparing them for the future?
Well, I mean, I think I've always, since I've been at Kaulig Racing, just tried to be the best teammate as possible. For the most part, all my teammates are a good bit younger than me. Obviously, Shane is not a lot younger than me, but he's completely different in the sense of what he's coming over to. So I've been there before, where you get on an oval and you're like, wow, this is not just four corners. Like, this is way different. So trying to help Shane in that way. Obviously, on the road courses, he doesn't need any help. But guys like Justin Haley and just all the. When Jeb was there, when we get – and that's tough. Like, it was cool having Justin for so long because we could kind of, work together. In the Xfinity Series, more often than not, you have a guy for a year, maybe 2 years, and they move on. So I think just more than anything, always trying to say, like, hey, my door's open. I'm never going to force myself on them.
Right.
But if you want to talk about whatever, I'm always here.
So before we let you go here, AJ, at Talking Strategy, what do you expect that you're going to try and do to try and get to the front today?
Well, I mean, I think it's the guys that got outright speed. The Tyler Reddicks, the Denny Hamlins, obviously the Hendrick cars are all super fast. I think you can kind of create your own luck. You can even if you get in the back, you can still make passes. But once you get I feel like 10th on back. I mean, God, you just run the same speed. Like, you move up to a group of cars, you run that speed. So we got to try to pick the right strategy. Maybe if you're close enough to the leader, you can pit before the stage ends. A lot of it's luck. You hope you pit and a caution either falls the right way for you and things like that. But at the end of the day, I think it's just about not making any mistakes. If you go out there and as a race team, me as a driver, you make no mistakes, and that you finish 20th, and that's meant to be, then that's where you finish. I think it's hard to take if you make a mistake, and that's what costs you. So just no mistakes today.
Certainly best of luck to you today. A.J. Allmendinger starting 15th
Thanks for having me.
for
Love
the
being
30th
here.
anniversary running of the Brickyard 400.